Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM. Lots of cricket to talk about again, which is a great thing. And joining me on the line now to talk about Hume Cricket is Stephen Bennett. Stephen, great to be with you again after a couple of weeks of being a little bit in the dark. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Alice. Yeah, it's good to be able to talk about something other than the rain, but it's been ever present. But we finally got some cricket in on the weekend, which was just unreal.
Well, I feel bad for saying this, but I was just going to ask you about the rain situation. I understand that obviously in the Riverina we're seeing some pretty concerning sort of scenes come about at the moment with the current floodwatch situation. So it is a little bit of sit tight and monitor at the moment, but hopefully we still do get some cricket this weekend. We'll speak about the games last weekend. So we got a bit of a mixture of different grades being played last weekend. Stephen, we'll start with the A grade. Just bring us in on the latest from the weekend's results.
Yeah, so 3 out of the 4 games were able to be played last weekend, Ellis. We had last year's grand final runners-up Waller taking on Culcairn at Culcairn. We had the Rock Huron Creek hosting Osborne, which is always a bit of a local derby, and Henty hosted Holbrook. Yep, for sure. So Culcairn, they batted first. They made 106 for 183 with teenager Lockie Noble making his first 100. He made 104 off 99 balls, which is a pretty tidy effort against a very good bowling attack from Waller. And Waller got their chase underway. They sort of struggled a little bit, and a few blokes made pretty good starts. There was 2 or 3 blokes got into the 20s, but they ended up on 132. So that was probably a bit of a surprising win for Culcairn. They had a pretty tough season last year, and to come out and put it to one of the form teams in their first game of cricket was really good. So that was good for Cull. As I said, the Rock Huron Creek hosted Osborne. Osborne batted first, made 5 for 156. Their innings wasn't really going along at any sort of rate, and then a couple of young blokes, Ryan Collins, 19-year-old Lockie Lane, they were able to put on a really solid partnership in the second 20 overs to get 156 on the big ground at Huron Creek. And this was a thriller. This went down literally to the second ball of the last over when the Rock Huron Creek were bowled out for 155, so they just come up a run short. In that innings, Todd Hannam made 68 and Ryan Kirkwood made 52. And then the third game was Henty and Holbrook. Henty were able to post a pretty competitive score of 122 off their 40 overs. Again, pretty sodden outfield, so that's not a bad effort at all. Top scorer there was Mark White with 34, and they bowled Holbrook out for 87. Ewan McKinlay made 32. And didn't get a lot of support, unfortunately. But they're a young side, and they're sort of on their way up. So they did very well.
Now, tell us, Stephen, just before we get on to previewing the weekend's games, a lot of people might be listening that aren't from the area, thinking, well, we know that, the general sort of jurisdiction's been hammered by rain all winter and into the spring, obviously. We're now seeing more sort of flood concerns coming about in the last few days. I think there's sort of no rain forecast at the time of speaking, but I mean, people must be scratching their heads thinking, well, how are you playing any games at the moment with, the pitches, obviously, at a regional sports level, probably not being the most durable. So how have we been able to afford games happening, Stephen?
Well, we play all bar one of our grounds hard wicket. So we don't have the preparation required for a turf wicket. And that really is what's causing a lot of trouble for a lot of places because the grounds are just too wet to get onto with the rollers and the other equipment they need to bring a pitch up. So I suppose we've got that bit of fortune. Some of our grounds have been renovated over the last few years, so they've got improved drainage. And we've had inconsistent rain across the area. Our our particular association stretches from Oaklands all the way to Holbrook. And so you have very different levels of rain throughout them. Holbrook and Colcan have copped a hammering, whereas some of the other grounds just haven't had the rain or have got some good drainage. So there's just been a number of factors there, I think, that have just allowed us to be able to get out and have a go. We're just very fortunate in that regard that, we've been able to get a start.
Fortune favouring the Brave over in Hume. Stephen, let's talk about this weekend's game. So I believe there's some junior action too that you want to spruik, so the floor's yours.
Well, in the seniors this week, we've got in the A grade, we've got our 4 games as usual. So Lockhart and Colcan are playing. Osmond's hosting Henty. The reigning premiers, Brocklesby, Burrumbuttock, will be playing Walla Walla in a grand final rematch from last year, and Holbrook are playing Rand. In the second grade, we've got we will have Walbundry, who are the current second grade premiers. They're hosting Osborne. Oaklands are hosting Brocklesby, Burrumbuttock. Henty hosting Colcan, and Walla hosting Holbrook. We have 2 junior grades, so we've got under 16s and under 13s. They all play one-day cricket now. This year in the under 16s, we've got a new team from Brocklesby, Burrumbuttock. First time they've had 16. So that's been a really good feature of merging the 2 old comps, is that there's juniors coming through that weren't there previously. So they'll be playing on Saturday. And our under 13s covers 6 clubs, which is fantastic. Again, they play one-day cricket, played the same venues as the seniors. So, they're both terrific comps, the junior comps, and a lot of the junior players back up and play in the afternoon like many country comps.
All right, before we let you go, Stephen, I'll have to get some quick tips off you just across the senior grade games. Give us your favourites for the weekend's action.
Yep, not a problem. Well, we've got Brocklesby and Brocklesby, Burrumbuttock and Walla, as I was saying. Obviously, Brocklesby are they're the reigning premiers, and they'll be at home. Walla will be licking their wounds from last week, so I reckon that'll be a tough one, but maybe Brock Burrum, they've just had the week off. They might be able to prevail there. Osborne playing Henty. Osborne were winners last week. Probably Osborne at home. They may be able to shade Henty, but Henty got a few blokes that missed out last week, and they'll be really up and about. No worries at all. Lockhart and Colcan. This will be Lockhart's first game for the year, so hard to know what they'll bring to the table. Colcan had a good win last week. That game's been moved to Colcan, so I think Colcan will be a chance. And Holbrook and Rand. It should be another very good competitive game. Rand is always very good. I would think maybe Rand could pick up that one over at Holbrook.
There we have it, Stephen Bennett from the Hume Cricket Association. Great to have you on the Flow Friday Sports Show. And we've missed you for the last couple of weeks, so it's been great to get back up to speed on how it's all looking over there in Hume. Enjoy the action on the weekend. Stay dry. And thanks so much for your time. We'll speak to you again next week.
Thanks, Ellis. Thanks very much.